As of writing this, itch.io owes me $7,000. What I want to talk to you about here is itch.io's systemic failure with paying their creators out and how they have seemingly gone silent with replying to these problems. The reality is, staff have stopped replying to my support tickets. They promised issues would be solved within 24 hours, not just for me, but for other people on the forum. Some people claim wait times of over 100 days. The truth is, in their silence, one can also start assuming the worst. Hello everyone, I am MagmaGuy. In case you don't know me, I make Minecraft plugins for Java Edition servers that are popular enough to make a living. The plugins are open source and free, but about half of the content is sold on itch and distributed on Patreon so that I can do this full time and hire people to help. However, today I'm not here to talk to you about development. I'm here to talk to you about how itch.io has not been paying me and has not been paying other creators in their platform. As of writing this, itch.io owes me $7,000, and the amount keeps going up with each subsequent day as more people purchase my content. However, I want to make it clear that I don't seem to be an isolated case. If I were, it wouldn't be worth making a video about it, as some random developer you've never heard of being owed money isn't exactly news worth spreading. No, what I want to talk to you about here is itch.io's systemic failure with paying their creators out and how they have seemingly gone silent with replying to these problems. Let's start by showing what I mean through some receipts of this being a systemic problem. What you see on the screen here is a forum thread posted by an itch.io admin. This thread is titled Important! Payout or tax-related issues, post support ticket number here, no threads. Additionally, it is a sticky post on itch.io. Said post has had over 5,000 views as of recording this and at least 44 replies. I say at least 44 replies because the post is very clear that people whose issues have been resolved will have their replies deleted. The Wayback Machine has a few snapshots of the thread as well that prove that several posts have been deleted. We will get back to this thread in a moment. Now here are the receipts for my situation. As you can see, here is roughly the $7,000 owed to me. You can see the review started 40 days ago for one and 12 days ago for the other. Here are the support emails that I sent. As you can see, it seems like my payout request silently failed because my tax information had to be updated, which I was never informed of and was seemingly never going to be informed about. However, these things can happen. I immediately resubmitted the tax form and informed them within 23 minutes of being informed of this problem. They confirmed that they got the information and told me that the tax information should be processed within 24 hours. This was 19 days ago, and it is still not verified. So just to be sure, I went ahead and I asked Grok what is longer, 24 hours or 19 days. And it seems like 19 days is a bit more than 24 hours. So I tried to contact support again, and again, and again, and ever since that day, 19 days ago, I have not gotten a single message back from itch.io. Now that I showed you my situation, let's go back to the broader picture. A few days ago, while I was looking into this problem, I realized that this system has been causing a lot of problems for people ever since around the start of 2025. Here is my evidence to that end. You can pause and read it for yourselves if you want to, and I will also put the links down in the description box below. Yeah, there is quite a bit of it. Now that I have presented these receipts, I want to quickly touch on the consequences of this. I want to be clear. I'm not making this video because I am personally owed $7,000, because I don't think that would serve a purpose. No, the reason why I want to bring this up is because of the mix of lack of communication, lack of support, and the systemic failure of itch.io payout structure that is affecting an untold number of independent developers. If you somehow randomly stumbled upon this video and don't know what itch.io is, it's basically a competitor to Steam with a broader range of things you can sell on it, while also usually only having small creators and studios in it. You can buy and play games, sprites, models, sounds, mods, programs, just to name a few. I mostly use it to post my free and premium content that I made for my Minecraft plugin. The reason why I make this video is because the kind of people who are affected by this problem are, famously, among those who have the least means to survive it. Up front, I do want to say that this is not a problem that will destroy my life or my studio. I live well below my means, and I've been setting money aside to make a down payment on a house for a very long time. This is a massive setback, yes, but it is not one that will bankrupt me or make me homeless overnight. However, I am a developer who has been doing this for a very long time and who is decently successful in what they do. I'm even successful enough to hire people to work for me full-time. This is not the case with an overwhelming majority of indie developers. It is an all too common story to hear that indie developers get heavily into debt and even take out mortgages on their houses to push through multi-year game development process on no income and just burn through savings. I want you to imagine how it would feel to do this, to be at the end of this journey. Even better, be met with commercial success, only for that payments to be indefinitely delayed and for support staff to go silent. I, too, wish to one day make games. I could not think of a more demoralizing scenario than this, especially if that money is not just delayed, but it never comes. Finally, on to the last part of the video. Why is this happening? I will start with the one I earnestly hope is the case. itch.io is not a huge platform. Despite this, and according to them, they have made the decision to do a human review for every single payout they do according to their payout page. This delays the process that should be instant, in my opinion, by 10 to 14 days and presumably takes up someone's time in their company. Recently, itch.io has been hit with a massive problem due to Collective Shout. If you're unaware, Collective Shout is an activist group in Australia who morally objects to many things, one of them being X-rated content in general. In July 2025, Collective Shout decided to attack gaming platforms Steam and itch.io through payment processors. Basically, they pressured PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard to threaten to stop processing payments for itch and Steam if they kept hosting adult-only content and other content they find to be objectionable. itch.io alone ended up delisting about 20,000 games. Both Steam and itch folded quickly, understandably, since Visa and MasterCard handle about 70% of payments worldwide. Losing them would instantly kill these platforms. itch.io has since reinstated games conditionally, and it is likely that Steam is probably trying to claw their way back. I have to acknowledge this issue, not because I want to do a tight 5 minutes on my take on this matter. To be clear, it is ridiculous that a small fringe group in Australia can tell an American payment processor what I'm allowed to buy in Portugal, but because I have to recognize that ever since July, itch.io has basically been shuffling over 20,000 games back and forth. I recognize that this is not something that is easy or fast to do, and I respect that it has probably been stressful. However, as a platform, itch.io has two fundamental duties it must fulfill. It must allow users to purchase and play games, and it must pay the creators out the amount that is owed to them. While I appreciate that they have been going through a rough time, I want to make it clear that this is, in the very best case scenario, a systemic failure of an ill-conceived payout infrastructure, and not one that should have to be tolerated by creators. The system should simply not be built such that it can fail so catastrophically. If you are a small indie company, you can't afford to manually review these tickets. If your tax forms are set to expire, you can't afford to not send a message to your creators informing them that this is the case and that they will have to renew them. If a payout fails because of invalid tax documentation, you can't afford to not send an automated message informing the user that this is the case. You don't have enough staff to do all these support tickets manually and wait for us to come to you. This is because you end up with a catastrophic support cascade where a single event like this Collective Shout incident can cascade into all of your staff being too paralyzed to process payouts, which is an enormous breach of trust which can have catastrophic consequences for creators. I have seen several creators swear the platform off, and I certainly could no longer recommend it outright in good faith for any aspiring game developer without giving them the massive caveat that while this platform is nice, it might randomly not pay you, which is obviously a non-starter, or at the very least not something someone would fully invest in. And this is the nicest, most optimistic interpretation that I can make of the current situation. Now let's talk about the worst case scenario. The reality is, staff have stopped replying to my support tickets. They promised issues would be solved within 24 hours, not just for me, but for other people on the forum. Some people claim wait times of over 100 days. The truth is, in their silence, one can also start assuming the worst. And certainly, running out of money is one hideous possibility. To be clear, I think, or maybe I hope, that it is too early to claim the worst case scenario, that itch is simply out of money and that creators will not be paid out. Perhaps the biggest failure of them all is the system failure that leads a creator that has been on their platform for several years to fear that this might even be the case, as remote a possibility as it might sound like right now. People do not wait until a bank is out of money to make a bank run, just like indies won't wait until itch.io shuts down before they move to a more stable platform. I think it's critical for itch.io to address what has happened, how these failures came to be, and how this will never happen again in the future. I think that if you are getting started in your game development journey and you are looking at itch.io as a platform you want it to be present in, you should first double check if the payment situation has been resolved before making any decisions, and you probably shouldn't put all of your eggs in the same basket. Unfortunately, I cannot in good conscience recommend any other platforms, as the only other platform I've used is Patreon, which is not the same kind of platform. Obviously there is Steam, but if you know about itch.io, you definitely know about Steam. Please, if you are an itch.io creator and have gone through the same problems, share this video to see if we can get a response from itch. Even better, if you are a creator and have recently been paid out with no problem, share that in the comments as well. I do not want the worst case scenario to be true, as I only have much to lose if that happens. Even if you have not had these issues with recent payouts, I do believe that this is a problem worth scrutinizing, and this is the last venue that I have to bring about change. A moonshot from a YouTube channel that never posts. That's it for now. If or when this situation changes, I will stick you a post saying so in the comments. Good luck to you all. Peace.